This is an anti-memoir. So it is basically a parenting guide that is kind of tongue-in-cheek about me having my child at the age of 18. He's now a full-ass adult. So much of art is time travel. So it's kind of like going back in the past and giving that instruction manual to myself and saying, I know it's going to be tough, and I know that you think that it's impossible, but it's not. And not only is it not impossible, you might actually do a good job. You're a young mom, barely in your 30s. Your home is now a sanctuary. You are a safe place for these kids, and you must ensure that your space remains safe. One of the ways to practice safety is to have and model having boundaries. I remember just sitting with my mom once, and she just said, you know, there's no such thing as unconditional love. And I was just like, no, you're definitely not the person to tell me that. You're supposed to love me unconditionally. And I think what she meant was, how can you love someone without boundaries? Boundaries keep you soft and kind. Boundaries help you love others and yourself better. Kids think they can smoke weed in your living room. Nope. Teens believe you will buy them beer. I think the fuck not. Children dropping acid on your couch? Hell no. One night, you will come home from a long day of teaching and find a full-blown party happening in your house and spilling out onto the front yard. One of the kids is white and fancies himself a rapper. Challenge this white child to a rap battle. He enthusiastically accepts and introduces himself as Young Dippin'. When the beat starts playing and the battle begins, the children are all stunned. How is this old, light-skinned lady so easily humiliating this teen MC? When you win the rap battle, mic still in your hand, tell every kid at the party that the party is over. As they leave, explain that your home is not a venue, and hug them all goodbye. I think when you're parenting, you're dealing with a lot of serious moments. And when you're part of a marginalized group and another marginalized group within that group, and so on and so forth, there's going to be so much nonsense that you have to deal with. And if you don't laugh, you will cry or die. Would you like some blueberries to munch on?
No.
Really?
I've never liked blueberries. You don't even know me.
I don't. I didn't know that you didn't like blueberries. You really just don't like them at all?
I'm gonna get scurvy, bro. I think I only eat like citrus fruits and then like no other fruits ever. No, what are you talking about? My mom provides this sense of comfort whenever I'm able to like come home to where I can connect with her immediately. It's like, you know, old friends that you went to school with where you don't do the thing where you catch up first. Instead of catching up, you kind of go through your routine of like jokes. I think you cook so infrequently that you're like, oh no.
That's not true. Now I cook all the time. The grief of having your child become an adult the first few years is the worst feeling in the world, because for me specifically, I lost my sense of purpose. But then I talked to other parents and they said, he'll be back. Don't worry, he'll be back and you'll be so tired of him.
Did you season these?
Yes.
Okay.
You can taste and see what you think of them.
Yeah.
You like?
Yeah.
All right. See? I can cook now. I'm getting better.
They're not that good.
They're not?
No, they're pretty good.
Okay, okay. That was funny. Do I get this now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You cooked one thing. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. This is something that Angela and I have had for several years. What would this be considered? Like a domestic trophy?
It's rewarded to you for only doing the most basic of tasks.
The most basic task. So like when I
think it started when I was like, Mom, I did all my homework for the day. And you'd be like, here, dude.
Here you go, dude.
Because I feel like it should be like that's what you're supposed to do.
Or like I would get groceries for us and you'd be like, here, Mom, you fed your family.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, yeah, I did. I think humor plays a really, really big role in child rearing. and it can really make or break your entire world. Think about it. Like, my brain was not fully formed until you were like 7.
Yeah.
So you spent the first 7 years of your life being raised by someone whose brain was not fully formed. Yeah.
Trust me, I remember. When my mom was 22, she was taking care of a 4-year-old in Texas, like with not a whole lot of friends, not a whole lot of things to do outside of going home, waking up, raising a child, taking them to and from school, teaching, going to class every day. And still, at the end of the day, you're like, well, I have to write this book and I have to get it published.
Dropping off a 6-year-old at school and having him say, write 10 pages. When I get out of school, I want to see 10 pages, you know? Like, just how serious he was about it. It was really hilarious, but it was also kind of paternal. And so, yeah, in a lot of ways, he raised me too. And I owe him for that, for sure. Do you remember in October?
In October, when we first moved to Fresno, my mom was not being paid until October, because I don't know if that's like how the salary was for associate professors.
Yeah.
But I remember like we didn't have internet, and we didn't really eat like food. Like,
yeah, we were absolutely broke. We had no money. I write a little bit in the guide about the regrets that a lot of parents have. So many of us have a lot of guilt about what we could have done differently. I just think all of that guilt is so much part of being a parent that it's hard to even separate from it. And it's because ultimately you're just a human being and you basically just did the best you could. And sometimes the best you could do wasn't that amazing, and that's okay too. Cheers.
oh, dude. Boink.
Cheers. I think I remember like just having to remind myself that as a kid, there's no way for you to know how hard it is for your parent. You're like way too young and you're going through your own stuff.
Because I remember we did have a moment where I was like, I want a PlayStation and a guitar. And you're like, you can either have the PlayStation or the guitar. And so I just chose the guitar, and then all my friends chose the PlayStation. Moments like that were like life defining for me.
Did you know that I couldn't afford both, or did you think I was just being an asshole?
The latter.
Right, right? Dude. Good job. Did you think you'd be an artist?
No. When I was a child, I wanted to be a corporate lawyer. I didn't know what I wanted to do as an adult, so I was like, easy. I'm gonna be a corporate lawyer. My life is like decided for me. I wanted to like live in a world of absolutes, I think, when I was a child, because so much was uncertain for me.
Yeah, exactly.
And then like as I grew older, I was like, oh, well, actually uncertainty is like the only exciting thing about life. It's like the only like
Constant.
It's the only constant is uncertainty. I definitely like started taking music seriously because I saw how serious you took your art and like the way you operated.
The fact that Angelo has continued to be who he always has been is a huge success. You know, that he has not, his sense of self has not eroded. Like, he's still the funny, ridiculous human being that I met the day he was born. This is one of your old photo albums. This is, can I read you what I wrote? These photos reflect only one side of your multifaceted, beautiful self. You're amazing and have succeeded to baffle me daily. I love your sense of humor and smart talk, of which you've been dishing large quantities. This picture of you, to me, is just like very like, it says before your haircut, but it's very cool.
And now I have the same fucking haircut.
It's the 90s, you're wearing plaid, you're wearing overalls, you look awesome.
Go back to the Austin ones.
Oh yeah, the Austin ones are good. Okay.
These are like the first flashes of memory for me. Like I met my best friend, my childhood best friend. I met her at this park.
This was the family units. Those
Mhm.
like really cheap
The student
apartments.
housing for
Student housing for
families.
families.
Yeah.
And this is what the inside looked like. The walls were like made out of this like I don't know what kind of fake wood this is, but
Wood, yeah. I
yeah.
had a basketball. I never went D1. Can't believe it.
Incredible. I think just being able to be ourselves, who we are, around each other is like the biggest success.
You know, I have friends who now only in adulthood have been able to show these sides of themselves to their parents for the first time ever. And me having that connection to my mother always made it so I could be like, I could put my foot down even as a 6-year-old and be like, Mom, you need to show me some fucking respect, you know?
Poor Ange. I feel like you should have several degrees.
I have your MA as well, like as
Yeah.
well as your MFA, as well
And
as
yeah.
well as your associate professorship.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm sorry, everyone, but I'm
I'm not getting my master's. I already have 2.
Yeah, you're like, I'm done.
I've never really had like a permanent place that I consider home. And it's more about, I think it's just about community. And the way I grew up, you know, with just 2 people in a household, like the communities that surrounded us were the things that built me up.
Home for me has always been my body and my community. And Angelo is like the most important part of my community. That's what home is for me. I can be anywhere and still feel that sense of connectedness.